right, Happy New Year, everyone. Believe it is January 7th. According to Environment Canada, we're sitting at minus 30 outside. In the garage here, I guess that would be, what, minus 14, minus 12, somewhere in about there, if it'll focus. So today we're getting ready to start up the waste oil furnace for the first time in this winter season. So I've gone ahead and plugged in our power bar to at least operate our battery blanket to try and bring up our oil temperature, to kind of help its viscosity out. All our valves are still shut off. Last season I did leave oil in it. Don't know if you can tell where the mark is or not, but we're sitting about bucket, not quite, I guess it's over half full, and that has caused sweating. I don't know if it's leaking or not, but it's at least sweating in our line, so that's something I'm going to have to change. I don't know if I'll do it during our winter season or if it's going to get changed out at the end of the season, and I'll keep in mind not to leave oil in it. Probably just move this shut off up to the tank so that I can shut it off up there and drain the line completely when I'm using it, or I guess when I'm finished using it. So nothing else has changed with our components. I guess from the last videos I moved my stainless steel shelf. It was sitting on the other side of the wall just outside, and I moved it in here as we made some major modifications to the back of the garage, so I had to accommodate moving some things. So looking inside, as you can see, I just left everything in it, did a shutdown last time I used it, and pretty well just walked away from it. So it looks like it's been dripping, probably just normal condensation or rain or something coming through the cap and collecting in the bowl. Before I do a startup, I'll see how dirty it is inside, but we're going to do a clean out of our burning pot, get it ready for our first burn. Okay, so before this was full, we've now emptied it out, scraped it as best as we kind of could. For doing that, I just use this little pry bar. So looking inside, you can see where a lot of it's blown around, all the ash that comes off. The ash builds up on this piece here and will flake off and blow all around. So I'm going to take a minute and clean the bulk of all that out, and then get this pot sitting on those railroad spikes. Back in a second. Alright, so with assembling, stacking the pipes, we're just looking for some room for extra air to come in. I'm just kind of center that how it goes, so we'll have to be careful how this moves. In the past, I've always had these in the bottom as well. So this is the top ring from the propane tank. So there it is with all its markings. That's the very top. This is the inner layer. And then this is the bottom of the pan that we're using. So I've always had those just in the bottom of here underneath, kind of wedged up to make sure, just to build up the height for optimal fuel efficiency. So let's take a second and get some oil in here and start it up. Okay, once we kind of get the fire going, as you see it here, we can adjust our fan, which will plug in. This fan is off of a hot water tank, and we control it with this dial here. So there's how much oil is dripping. With the pot being as full as it is with oil, it's going to be burning rich for a bit. So on startup, you can see it is fairly thick white smoke, and it's going to stay thick and white until the bulk of that oil in the pan burns off. And once it gets running how it should, being optimal, it'll just be burning off that amount that's dripping. So our flue temperature is already wrapped once around. Before I walked outside, it was at the 700 mark. So we're coming up all the way around onto the 300 mark. So smoke is a little thicker and darker. But like I said, that's going to burn off when that pan empties out. So we'll monitor that as we are going here. So looking inside, other than the crazy amount of heat, the bottom of the pan is completely burned off. So the only thing that's burning now is what's dripping out of it, which I can still see the stream coming out, but it's catching fire quite quickly. Our temperature just inside is coming up on the 1100 mark. And our flue temperature did make it all the way around up to the 400, but is now coming down closer to the 2. And up there, all you see now is heat vapors. So if I could have controlled the amount of oil in that pan before I started it, we would have avoided a lot of that smoke. Alright, so while I'm working in here, I do have this little magna temp which we're sitting at minus 12, minus 10 inside the garage. And we're just going to let this run for a while, monitor the smoke, and see how warm we can get the garage. Inside temperature is, well, call it 22 Celsius, and this is right in the corner, right near where the furnace is running. So compared to starting it at minus 15, it's done quite. All right, we're going to do a shutdown, which is as simple as turning off the oil flow, confirming that it's off with no more oil dripping through. And there it goes. So you can see the smoke going, but you can see how red that black pipe bell valve kind of goes. You can see that there's a layer of soot on it. So that's where a lot of that flaking goes into the bottom of the tank. Shut off the air completely. So that's just up here, pushed in, any typical fan. Switch, and you can see a little bit of residual oil coming out. But that's it. That's as simple as it is to turn it off. And again, it's shut off, so there's no smoke to come out. So the last thing I do when I'm done is just turn off the fan and the battery blanket and call her a day. I guess one thing to take a look at is how much oil did we use. So from what I can see, we're sitting about where my thumb is, and I believe we started up here. So an exact measurement is going to be a guess, but probably 2 liters. But we'll fill it back up and I'll take a look the next time we go to run it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.